for our second discussion this week, I'll give you a minute to read the prompt. And what we'll do is we'll just spend some time brainstorming, just like we did for the first discussion. And then we'll take a look at what we can do to help with, like I said, giving you some brainstorming ideas to look at. Okay, so you're working for a small business owner. You're selling women's fitness apparel in a strip mall. The space next door becomes available. You're trying to decide if that's a good idea for you to increase your space. You are financially sound, but you're not seeing sales growth year after year. Your company does not have an online sales platform, and it depends on repeat customers and foot traffic. Okay, so you're asked to determine if this is a valid opportunity to expand the business. So I'm going to clear out our ideas from last discussion. And let's take a look at this one. So our first task is to explain the method you would research to research survivability. So we need the method of research. What are you going to do? What kind of information do you actually want to know to be able to determine if this is a viable option or not? Well, I don't know about you, but I actually want to know what the actual sales are. So I want to find out the sales. Okay, what are the sales? Then what else do you want to know? I'd like to know, how can the space be used? Okay, so if you're looking at warehouse, well, it says it's a strip mall, so it's probably not warehouse space, but if it's warehouse space, how are you going to use that? Are you going to use it for more inventory? Are you going to use it for shipping station? I don't know if you're going to use it for a shipping station when you don't have online sales presence, but that's something to look at. I mean, do you already have online sales kind of in the works? Like, you're going to get that going, and you do need space to store your inventory. You do need space to do your shipping. This space might be that place to do that. So something to think about there. I'd also want to know cost analysis. I want to know what this space is going to cost me versus what do I project my increase in revenue. So, because it really doesn't make sense to go increase your space unless you know that it's going to increase your revenue as well. So, like, meaning don't go get more space unless you know you're going to bring in more sales because of that space. So you need to do a cost analysis of this. Is it going to make you more money than it's going to cost you? Okay, so I think I've got 3 good things that I want to focus on in my research. And then let's take a look at the next piece. And the next piece are, what are the 3 potential mistakes to avoid in your research, and how can you avoid making those mistakes? So we need mistakes that could be made in our research. Okay, what mistakes could we make in our research? Okay, we could make an error in projecting our sales. Meaning we could say, oh, we're going to increase our sales by 10,000, right? We could make an error because it's a projection. So we have to know how to make those projections correctly. Okay. How can the space be used? We may not consider one way that the space could be used. Meaning, we may look at the space being used for inventory or a shipping station, but we may forget to use it as a place maybe where women come to, what if we offered it as a space where women could come and hang out after they work out at the gym, right? So we could offer it, we could kind of pivot in our business to offer a different service. So one mistake would be to not consider one of those ways that we could offer to use our space. And let's see, I think that's pretty good. We've got we need three ways. So we error in projecting our sales. We not consider one way that the space could be used. I need one more mistake we could make. I think maybe our third space would be to not thoroughly research the online presence. I was talking to someone the other day about how this online thing is not going away, right? We were talking about online teaching, but really, a store who doesn't have an online presence is really inhibiting themselves because it's such a part of our culture now. So I think one mistake would be to not thoroughly research the need for an online presence, because I think that's a kind of a red flag in this business, and how they're not reaching part of their audience, or they're not reaching potential customers. So that answers that question about mistakes we could be making in our research. And the last one is, how do we avoid those mistakes? So let's brainstorm on that just a little bit. How do we avoid these mistakes? Well, to avoid the mistake of error in projecting sales, I think we need to have people check our numbers, right? We need to not be the only one projecting sales. We need other eyes on this. So maybe we use a little bit of accounting people to project sales, or project them ourselves. And I'm sorry, my nose is itching here. Project the sales ourselves, but then have someone look over it, right? So you have accounting, maybe you have a CPA who does your annual tax return. Have them take a look at those sales, those projections, to see. Okay, how do we avoid the mistake of not considering one way that the space could be used? I think in order for our research to be as thorough as we want it to be, we need to research other businesses like ours in different markets. Meaning, I want to know what small business, women's fitness apparel businesses are doing that maybe are not in my city. Maybe they're in a different city. What are they doing to expand and grow? I think that would help me to know different ways that they are using their space. Maybe they are doing a not coffee shop, but maybe like a juice bar, right? That especially if there's a gym right there, and then they've got a juice bar, and then they got the women fitness apparel. It kind of just seems like that's all the same customer, right? So I want to know what other businesses like ours is doing, but those businesses would be in other markets. So maybe they're in another city, maybe they're in another state. And then how do we overcome or avoid the mistake of not thoroughly researching the online presence? So for this one, I think we have to look at other people who have a great online presence. Meaning, I want to know what people are doing who are 5 or 10 years down the path from my business, right? I want to know those who've been in the market for a long time, what are they doing successfully with their online business? How are they making it work? And I think that kind of addresses our ways to avoid the mistakes here. Whew, that's a lot. We've got a lot of great ideas. Now, this one took us a little bit longer. It took us a little bit about around 12 minutes to brainstorm all of our ideas, but you've definitely got the keys here. You've got a great outline for a discussion post for this discussion too. And so I would encourage you to use it to help you with your discussion this week. Don't forget, as always with our discussion post, we need a reference. So, you know, something to think about, how to, maybe you Google, and I want to do this, Google how to, oh, not hot, how to conduct quality business research for expansion. And I'm looking at expansion because that's really what we're trying to do. Let's see what that Google search brings up for us. So here's one that says 5 ways to improve your business with market research. Let's see what kind of options this gives. Identify new opportunities. There's a great one you definitely could use for your discussion, for your reference. So I'm going to leave that in our notes there as a way to help with your